Welcome to College Football Monday, a Sons of Saturday live show brought to you by Jack and Coke. I'm your host, Pete B. This is our national show. We cover everything that happens in college football along with a heavy dose of what the Hokies were up to. That wasn't so good. However, it is good to have Sam Jesse here with me. Sam, how you doing tonight, man?
I am doing about as good as I could do at this point. It's kind of weird because Saturday night was my own personal version of hell. Like Dante's Inferno, seventh layer, about as bad of a first half of football that I could remember. And I feel so much better today than I thought I would. Like I thought it would linger, but it really honestly like a couple hours and moved on to next season. Like I moved on so quick from that.
You're done.
So,
It was just it. Yeah.
Yeah, like moved on. Ready to go. Ready for next year.
Well, it was set up nicely for us to move on. I will say that with the new coach and everything. A high profile coach who's doing some work on the recruiting trail right now. And we are going to get to that just about at 8:30 when our guest Robert Irby joins us. We're going to do VT Corner. We're going to do some playoff talk, some playoff fixes, and our playoff picks a little bit later in the show. For right now, Sam, give us a cheers, kick us off.
My cheers is going to be much happier than the Too Deep cheers because this is our national show. And I will cheers to something that was put in the Sons of Saturday chat a few minutes ago that said, this is going to be the craziest, most chaotic offseason in college football history. And it will all happen before the national championship game. So cheers to content.
This is my Nashville Grand Ole Opry koozie here. I've got a tall boy in this thing, and it's a Christmas ale. So we will chat about this a little bit later on. For right now, hop in the chat, like the video, and subscribe. Now, we did hit our goal of 5,000 subscribers. But as soon as you hit a goal, Sam, you extend it a little bit farther. And we're going for 6, not 7. The LeBron Heat meme, we're doing that. So thank you everyone for subscribing, hanging with us this year, getting us up to that 5,000 number. That feels like a big deal. And I posted earlier on Too Deep accounts about how our listenership was this month, Sam, and it was pretty good.
Pretty awesome. Like I don't think we get a plaque from YouTube for only 5,000, but it is like the Sons of Saturday network, we really just started focusing on YouTube probably a year ago. And so to do all of that in a year and to grow as much as we have on that platform specifically, as well as continuing to grow on all of our other podcasting platforms, like is so monumental for us. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. And I would say that it really started the YouTube for Sons of Saturday. And I think when it really started to take off was the Queens of Castle.
Yeah.
That they helped launch it, their Final Four run. So that was a little more than a year ago. But I know what you're saying because Too Deep got on this in 2023, me and Rob, and then you and me doing it last year. It hasn't been that long that Too Deep has been on the Sons of Saturday channel. And the boys laid a great foundation, and now we're all working together to bring it up. But that's enough about that because we got rivalry week to talk about. Week 14 in college football saw Ohio State finally getting the Michigan monkey off their back. Texas turned it on in the second half to beat A&M by double digits. Bama and Oklahoma both kind of escaped their matchups. Escaped might not be fair for Bama. It's definitely fair for Oklahoma. Georgia and Georgia Tech played an ugly game, really ugly. And so many favorites this weekend, Sam, really kind of smoked their opponents.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the overarching story of the weekend is that the favorites kind of rolled. Really only one game in which the underdog won in a big way, and that'd be Texas over Texas A&M. And they were only a 2.5-point dog, and they were at home. Like we didn't have the chaos of rivalry weekend that we normally get.
No.
Which was kind of surprising to me. But we did have some underdogs keep games close. We had some good games. But yeah, man, pretty chalky for the second straight week in a row, pretty chalky.
Do you feel that this year in general went more chalk? I mean, in the SEC, like I don't remember, like except for Florida, any other bad teams beating a top team.
Yeah, well, we never had the team like jump up a level really this year. I will say we had so many teams I felt like underachieved that we are normally seeing in the playoff push, LSU, Penn State, Clemson, Virginia Tech, not normally at that level, but like talk about underachievers,
Mhm.
right? That to me is kind of one of the bullet points of the season of some of the big blue bloods of the sport or some of the teams that we thought would have pretty good years really underachieving and really having bad seasons, like not making it to bowl games and stuff like that. So that maybe created some of those, oh, we didn't get that big upset because, hey, like when Iowa beat Penn State was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
So like that's what happens.
In the ACC, I want to get around to this debacle that happened in the ACC because we've been doing this to ourselves for weeks. Like talked about the SEC where none of the bad teams ever beat the good teams. That happened almost every week in the ACC, the good teams. Like not that we really have any to speak of, but this conference deserves nothing nice after what happened here because obviously UVA beat us. They secure their spot. Good for them. Duke beat Wake, but then SMU goes out to Cal. They have been rolling. Like SMU has been mowing people down. They go out to Cal, they get down, they come all the way back, they take a lead, and then they blow that late lead. And now SMU is out of the championship game. And because Miami beat Pitt, it leaves it to the 5 teams tied at 6-2 tiebreakers. And what do we get, Sam?
We get sweater vests versus quarter zips. That's what we
Yes,
got
we are getting
Saturday in Charlotte.
Duke and UVA playing for the ACC title. That's 7-5 Duke.
I mean,
Yeah, we got Max and Cheese in the chat. I told y'all Duke was winning the ship.
we
they
really
might.
need to like.
Well, is
I
this a
mean,
Jim
how it?
Phillips problem? Is this just the
Yes,
conference? Okay,
I
I
mean,
want to hear your
it
opinion.
is. I don't think it's Jim Phillips' fault. I think it is his problem though, because Miami's clearly the best team in here, and if you're going to have a scheduling that like leaves them out and tiebreakers that leave them out, dude, what are you doing?
Well, this is the reason. This is the reason it's Jim Phillips' fault. Is because the American Conference had the good sense to say we're not letting arbitrary tiebreakers make this decision. They said it's going to be the committee rankings and or computer rankings breaking the tie. And if that were the case in the ACC right now, we'd have UVA and Miami. But because there's no foresight ever by Jim Phillips or anyone in power in the ACC, we are left with 7-5 Duke playing for our conference title.
Yeah.
Even though they have the same record as a bunch of dudes. And listen, Miami's to blame for their problems. Pitt's to blame. Georgia Tech's to blame. However, you can avoid this if you have proper foresight.
Yeah, I think Georgia Tech is maybe the most disappointing because like they really were not a good team down the stretch. They should have, but very well could have lost to a horrific Boston College team. And then they come out flat as hell against Pitt in what was their biggest game of the season at home at night. Miami, like you can't lose those close games. Like you got to pull out one of them. SMU, all you have to do is beat Cal and just fire the coach. Not in like
that's
so many teams.
I forgot to even say that part.
Yeah, I mean, like Louisville's like talent wise, Louisville should be a top 3 team in this conference, but they had really crappy performances time and time again. Like Florida State, what the hell is Florida State doing? Again, a bad year at Florida State. Like I understand. I agree. Like if they would have gone with, hey, if it's the same record, we're going with the college football playoff ranking or head to head. You go head to head first, and
it's
then
head to head first
play.
Always, and then the tiebreakers CFP.
Like Miami UVA makes sense as the teams who should be playing for an ACC title this year. Totally makes sense, and it's not what you're getting. Now,
and there was a question from Max and Cheese saying, if Duke wins, do you think Miami makes the playoff? No.
We're going to talk
because that can't happen.
Here's the thing. We're going to talk about it when we do our playoff picks.
We will get to the scenarios later in the show. with the playoff
man, oh,
because
man.
it can't. There's some interesting things that can happen with this, but Miami, there is no path where they can get in unless the committee decides after weeks of not deciding that Miami is ahead of Notre Dame. Unless the committee decides at the last second that Miami is better than Notre Dame, which they could because Miami got the win over Pitt. It's a common opponent. They both won. Maybe they assess it. There's a head-to-head. Maybe. But no, Duke winning has no bearing on Miami getting in. No bearing at all. Let's talk about the AP poll quickly before we do a couple game recaps and then get Robert on to do VT Corner. We're going to talk about recruiting. It's been awesome today. A&M dropped 4 spots after their loss to Texas. They're number 7. They screwed themselves out of a bye, most likely here, Sam.
Yeah.
I know this isn't the CFP, but I'm saying like because of the loss where they fell here, it probably means they're falling in the CFP to this point.
Yeah, I think, the real question is Texas A&M versus the 2 teams you have right in front of them there, Ole Miss and Texas Tech, right? Like whose loss is better? Texas Tech on the road with your backup quarterback to a decent, not great Arizona State team that did still have Sam Leavitt.
Yep.
And then you have Ole Miss who, has some good wins this season. They have the win against Tulane. They have the Lane Kiffin thing though.
Yes.
And like, that's a massive asterisk. That's almost more than their actual resume, I think, at a point. And then you have Oregon who got beat by double digits by Indiana. Other than that, they've been good, but they don't have as many like big time wins. So like, I think all those teams are pretty close. I think it's going to be really, really tough to put Ole Miss and Texas Tech above Texas A&M in the college football playoff rankings, but the AP certainly did. But the AP is much more reactionary, than the playoff committee is.
There's a question from Bassmaster. Can the committee consider leaving Kiffin and Ole Miss out? Yeah, basically with Kiffin gone, can they leave him out because what they did to FSU? And I think, the committee can do whatever they want. However, it's not a starting quarterback. It's a head coach who I could argue is just as important. However, it's also the SEC and it's a 12-team playoff, not a 4. And it's not Nick Saban's last season where they were trying to force Saban into the college. Like, it's just a completely different scenario, and they're not going to leave Ole Miss out no matter what. Like, unless half of Ole Miss's team literally hit the portal.
And that's not happening. And also, like, I think what the committee did to Florida State was like BS.
It was total BS.
But the drop-off that team had was pretty substantial from starting quarterback to backup quarterback.
Ole Miss, but they won the ACC championship with that backup quarterback
by like 3 points on a terrible. They looked terrible.
They still won.
Game. It was like
I just thought it was wrong.
It was wrong. But I'm saying like Lane Kiffin is like, how many points is Lane Kiffin worth per game?
I don't know.
It's probably less than Jordan Travis at quarterback though. That would be my thought. And also
probably because Lane's not calling plays.
I don't think he calls plays anymore.
So, yeah. I mean, nevertheless, these coaches are paid like they're the stars of the team, and yet you're going to tell me that they're not important? Like, I do think it should factor into their seeding. I
think it will. Yeah. I think it will. And that's why I think, Texas A&M, I think is going to be ranked above. And also the committee is going to get Texas A&M a home game. Like, that's easy.
Probably, yeah. They're 11-1 in the SEC. They're going and they have a win over Notre Dame. I mean, like they're going to be in there with a first round home game. As for the other teams, Georgia, Oregon, Texas Tech all moved up. Texas Tech, like you just talked about, jumped Ole Miss. Miami jumped Vandy, despite both of them beating their opponents really good, and Vandy's opponent in theory being better than Pitt, though I don't really know. UVA's at number 16, GT at number 24 in the AP poll, just 3 ACC teams ranked after the chaos that happened. Texas up 2 spots to 14 after their big win. It's hard to move a 3-loss team up too far, like even after a huge win. JMU at 19, North Texas at 20, Tulane at 21, Navy at 23. Congrats to Navy getting in there. 9-2 season prior to their game against Army coming up.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge for the American to see 3 teams in the AP poll, right? I think that's the big thing, because even though JMU is ahead of them here, the College Football Playoff Committee has made it seem like they want the American champion in the playoff as opposed to JMU. But what JMU is doing to teams right now is extraordinary. They are beating the tar out of everybody. So the American, I think, has the depth and the conference prestige this year, but JMU's got the style points. And at what point does JMU's style points give them that jump over North Texas and over Tulane, who both of those teams have had points this year or they didn't look super great. And neither of those teams have played a really tough schedule either down the stretch. I mean, North Texas has played nobody, right? Their best game is South Florida and Navy. They lost one of those games.
They did. Did you see this question here, Sam? What's your answer for this?
Will UVA get in if they? Yes.
Yes, they will be in without a doubt.
If they will
win, they're in.
Like, they'll be the 11 seed.
Yes,
which means that they will probably play a road game at Texas A&M, at Ole Miss, at Texas Tech. I think they're going to give Texas Tech a top 5 seed if they win. If they beat
top
BYU,
5 seed, but not a bye.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Texas Tech's going to get a bye.
I think North Texas at Texas Tech is like the ratings throwaway game that they hope like gets a little bit of interest in storyline.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's fun. That is a fun.
And the winner of that plays Texas A&M. So I've already written the story, Pete. It's done.
Godfrey says we need divisions in the ACC. Hey, we had those.
Well, that also didn't really work.
It didn't work great either. But what I said earlier, and I think Sam would probably agree, like if they just make the tiebreakers to get the highest ranked team in, then you fix the issue we have this year to an extent. You still got to have the ACC actually be good at some point. And then there was one other comment about the recruiting. I think that was also from Godfrey. We're going to talk about recruiting shortly. Don't worry, fellas. All right. So coaching carousel. I want to do coaching carousel quickly. We're going to do some more of it with Robert, but Lane Kiffin to LSU. Talked a little bit about it already. He's leaving a playoff team for a conference rival, and he's gone. He's not going to coach in the playoff, much to his dismay. Sam, this whole saga was so ridiculous, so drawn out. He drew it out as long as he possibly could. It was shades of the LeBron decision, right? Like he was like, I've got these 2 schools that really want me, plus the school I'm at. Like, who am I going to choose? And he was fueling this thing. At least that's the way I took it.
Dude loves media attention. Yeah. He craves it. He's born for it. He always has been. That's why he's going to LSU, because those two deserve each other. We'll put it that way. Yeah. The one reason I put that comment on there, Chesney gone, though, same Kiffin argument. I believe Chesney is coaching.
He's coaching, and so are the 2.
And so is John Summerall.
The American guys.
Yeah. So those guys are coaching the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Putting that out there.
To finish the Lane thought, there's so much we could say about Lane, but the whole thing was far too public for as good of a team that Ole Miss was having, for as historic a team that Ole Miss had. They did not, this is the best team in their modern era. They've had some good ones, you know, whether it was with Eli or with Hugh or now with Lane, but this is the best one and the one that could possibly go the farthest. And there's an outside chance they could have won the Natty if they're at full strength. And now it seems extremely unlikely. Yeah. Pete Golding will take over, but I just feel like these conversations, the way this played out, he just could have handled it a lot better. I'm not sure of the exact way you handle it, but I know how he handled it was wrong.
Yeah, and I think you do see some coaches like this throughout different sports and college athletics where, you know, they're great coaches. They seem like great people, but it is very much more about that coach's name than it is the logo, right? Like, I think, hey, Virginia Tech had a basketball coach like that, and he resurrected the program and did a great job. We love him for it. But like, Lane Kiffin is much more about Lane Kiffin than he is Ole Miss. And that's how he's going to be at LSU. It's how he was at Tennessee. It's how he was at USC. Like, that's how he is as a coach. So while I do think it is a really crappy thing for him to do, and I think the way that he handled it was really, really poor, I also am not shocked by it at all. And I think it is also one of these things when you sign up to have Lane Kiffin as your coach, this is one of the things you sign up for, whether you want it or not. Because Ole Miss knew this was going to happen,
Mhm.
right? Ole Miss is not a football program that historically has sustained success. They are not one of the highest bankroll programs in the SEC. They don't have the infrastructure that other programs have. So the fact that he's done as well as Ole Miss is, phenomenal. But also they knew this was going to happen. It's shitty that it's happening this year like this, but dude, LSU is maybe the number one job in the country.
I think you can leave. You're welcome to leave for LSU. That is your prerogative. I just
Leave in
think
January.
you can do this behind closed doors, have an agreement in place. You can tell Ole Miss prior to this weekend, I'm leaving after this season. I don't know where, but I'm leaving and I will sign after I'm done coaching this team. But once you sign the contract with a rival team, you can't demand to coach and then try to blackmail Ole Miss saying, you're going to let me coach this team or I'm taking all the coaches with me, which he did today. At least not all of them because Pete Golding's still there and several other guys, but a lot of guys got on that plane. And it's just the way he did it all, the BS statement yesterday, the woe is me interview with Marty Smith. God bless Marty Smith being locked at Ole Miss for all weekend.
God.
Oh my God. He's just so about himself, man. And
do you think Ole Miss lets him coach if he takes like the Penn State job?
It would be different. I think it would be different.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, Pete Golding is not only the interim coach, he has been named the new head coach for them. And hopefully, they can do as well as they possibly can. I hope we don't see the opt-outs and whatever else, because that would just be sad.
I don't think we will. I really don't think so. I don't get that vibe from this Ole Miss team. I think they're going to play pretty pissed off. I don't know if they win a natty. I don't know if they win a playoff game, but I don't think you're going to see the exodus that we've seen with other teams.
Well, let's talk about the dominoes that Lane started to make fall, because once the writing was on the wall of him going to LSU late in the week, Florida, Arkansas, and Auburn, they were all affected by this. Florida all of a sudden started going down their list. They land on Summerall from Tulane. That left Auburn scrambling because they thought they were down the road on Summerall. I mean, there's so many moving pieces to this, but they were deciding, like Auburn was deciding reportedly between DJ Durkin and Alex Golish at the last second, like literally basing the Iron Bowl result on who they're going to hire, which is hysterical.
I mean, that's just crazy. I think Alex Golish is going to do really well at Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to end in a fiery explosion, but I think he's going to do well, and it's going to be fun to watch. I think, Ryan Silverfield, he gets the job at Arkansas after beating Arkansas this year, which I think is really funny. Ryan Silverfield, do you know his record against winning teams at Memphis?
A record against winning teams? No, I don't.
Yeah. 12-20.
Oh.
Are we worried about that?
Maybe a little.
Okay.
And I know his record in conference play, he was 4-4 this year.
Yeah.
It's not outstanding because the beginning of his tenure was rougher, and then he had two really good seasons prior to this year. So I think he's a good coach and it's a good fit, but it's a hard job.
Arkansas it's a really hard job. It's a really hard job. Yeah.
I think, but I like that fit. I like Summerall at Florida. I think he could do really well there. Mm-hmm. I mean, we talked about all these guys a ton, and I like Golish. I thought he could succeed anywhere. It's going to be, can he find a quarterback? Auburn has not had this quarterback question answered in a while now.
I think they have their quarterback now.
Do you think they're bringing him over?
I think so.
Okay. That's Byram Brown.
Right? Byram Brown
coming over from South Florida potentially. So that's fun. But those were the dominoes, and like there was so much more to that with those three schools and like the triangle that was created with them and Ole Miss, and it's pretty nuts. someone put in the comments, Penn State. Yeah, Penn State is still without a coach. We may comment a little bit on that later. There could be something happening right now.
I've really, the whole time I've had this gut feeling that Penn State might go NFL. I don't think they will, but
the Dabble or Joe Brady route.
I think so. Like Dable makes sense, but I don't know, man.
I don't think it's a smart idea to go after an NFL guy. Joe Brady, maybe because he had that experience recently, and such a good OC for LSU that year, but they were obscenely loaded with talent. But yeah, we'll talk about Penn State. We'll talk about Michigan State. We'll talk about all these other teams a little bit later with Robert Irby. Top 5 games, Sam. We're going to run through these quick, and I see Rob in the chat, so I'll add him here in a minute. But let's talk about the game first. Ohio State, Michigan. Michigan looked like they might have a chance early in the game. It was, 6-0? They got a couple field goals. Now, you could say that as soon as they kicked that second field goal, that wasn't a good sign because they had just gotten the interception and they had some momentum. Because then Ohio State, they put 2 drives powered by their run game. They capped it with the touchdown to Smith. It's 10-6. Michigan, another field goal to make it 10-9, but that would be their last points of the day. 87-yard drive and another TD for Sayin made it 17-9 at the half. The defense just dominated from there on out. Michigan had I want to say 50 yards after halftime, right around 50 yards. 27-9, Buckeyes final. You got Bucky doing the spelling out the Ohio in the snow.
That's tough.
That was tough. That was awesome, though.
You're I don't think this was the taking out years of revenge on Michigan, but it was a pretty dominant game for 3 of the 4 quarters.
Yeah.
And you're right. Once Michigan had seemingly everything go their way for the first 5-6 minutes of this game, it was man, you're only up 6-0. You had to get at least 1 touchdown out of that. Ohio State is so good on third down, both offensively and defensively. It's 3rd and 8, not a problem. We got 2 or 3 different guys that we can go to, right? If 3rd and 2 and Ohio State's on defense, it's no shot you're getting that. No shot.
3rd down in the red zone, forget it.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. Something is weird about how good Ohio State is at red zone defense. It's uncanny. It's 3 straight years.
Have really freaking good players.
It's 3 straight years of teams just not being able to score touchdowns against them. Some of the best offenses in the country. Michigan's not one of those, but yeah, I think they had a defender post game. I forget which one it was, who said what was the key to stopping Bryce Underwood? And he said, making him play quarterback. That's tough. It's tough.
When you compare Underwood to Sayin too.
Yeah, man.
Sayin is unreal, man. That's a storyline coming out of this game. He had another over 90 QBR.
Good. Bo Jackson looked really good running the ball. That was one of the first games actually Ohio State has had a really solid run game, and that's a very good run defense.
It was an important part of the offense too, and then it opened things up for Sayin, who finished with 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions during the regular season, a 91 QBR. 5 of his 12 starts were over 90 in QBR. I mean, the dude is a 79% completion.
His accuracy is insane.
Yeah. Hard to see this team losing a game, speaking about Ohio State. I do think Indiana is going to bring it to them this weekend, but it's hard to see Ohio State losing.
I'd agree. I feel like you would need the start of this game that Michigan had, where the ball just kind of bounces your way, but you have to get touchdowns off it. I think the only way a team beats them is if they score on special teams or defense, maybe multiple times, because I just don't see a team scoring 3 touchdowns in a game against them. I don't see an offense out there that's going to do that.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the Big Ten championship, but you know what is interesting about the Big Ten championship? It is in the state of Indiana.
I will say, when Ohio State played Washington, half that stadium was scarlet. The Big House, half that stadium was scarlet.
I know. I'm trying to just throwing it in there for
Ohio
fun.
State fans pop up like daisies, man. They're everywhere.
They'll be there. They will be there. Robert Irby is now joining us. Robert, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Sam, I love the new setup, man. That looks awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. It is pretty nice. Although I was telling Pete before we started, it's completely soundproofed, right?
Mhm.
But the heat is on in the building, and soundproof walls aren't great for like regulating heat. So I'm in a bit of a hot box right now. So if you start seeing beads of sweat on the Sun Society YouTube page where we're going live, I do apologize. I am battling through it.
Well, I said to Sam, just take off the hoodie, man. And he's like, there's nothing on under this hoodie.
Hey, if we want, do we want YouTube views or not, Pete? I mean, come on.
I am always a shirt under the sweatshirt guy. I don't wear a sweatshirt straight up against the skin typically.
Yeah, I just hopped out of the shower after the gym and then ran down here.
Well,
to
I
be
do
honest
like
with
the
you.
hoodie. The hoodie's very fresh.
It is a very good hoodie. Can you get it SWVA?
Yes,
shop?
you can.
You
Sure
can.
You can buy that at the swvashop.com. Robert, we're going to talk about Alabama scoring late to beat Auburn 27-20. This was 17-0 Bama less than 20 minutes into the game. And it wasn't as if Auburn came charging back. They just kind of whittled it down. And then early in the third, it was 17-13. And then they had it tied early in the fourth. But I would say like Ty Simpson, while not stellar, he managed this game well. And that last drive was pretty clutch for the go-ahead score.
Yeah, no, it was. And ultimately it was just the Jordan magic in the Iron Bowl. There's no world where Auburn gets blown out here, no matter how bad they are. So they just hung around and did what they always do. They just find a way to just muck it up and keep it close. I'm sitting here thinking about the Bryce Young late drive and then the Jalen Milroe miracle.
The throw.
Yes. The 4th and 30 to Isaiah Bond. That's just how it goes. And at that point, you're just trying to survive. And Ty Simpson, I understand that he's out of the Heisman race and, he's had a couple duds here or there, but I do think that his steadiness has really, really made the difference for Alabama and has put them in a position to win the SEC again when I think there were multiple points during the season where that didn't look possible.
I thought Auburn, they had that drive and they were moving the ball at the end and the fumble, was it Coleman? The Coleman fumble?
It was Coleman, yeah.
Oh man, it's just so brutal. That was so rough and Bama wins. They survive. Auburn also turned it over another time in their last 3 drives that meant anything. So they were kind of falling all over themselves at the end there, but Bama to the title game, as you hinted at, to play Georgia for the 4th time in the last handful of years. It might be 7 years they've played each other 4 times. It's something crazy like that. And so it'll be fun. Bama's gotten them every time in that situation. What do you think is going to happen there, Sam?
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer has given Kirby Smart a whole lot of issues, especially early in games. He has scripted Kirby Smart out of here. So I think that is a really interesting dynamic to this game. Can Georgia have a big enough second half? They've been a pretty good second half team this year. Can they have a good enough second half to overcome the scripting ability of Kalen DeBoer? That for me is the story of the game. Alabama, there does seem to be a sense of evil empire back with Alabama. Doesn't matter. They're going to win. Even Jordan Hare magic can't stop them. So I think that is going to be a really interesting game. I think both of those teams can win the national title. I think both of those teams will be a top 8 seed or top 6 seed.
There are chinks in the armor for Bama, though. We see them, and we see them with Georgia, too. We'll talk about Georgia Tech maybe a little bit later. That game, it was such a bad game that it's not really worth doing a whole segment on.
Not.
But, Stockton was terrible. He played a bad game. And if he's going to play like that, they're not beating Bama. They're not going to beat anybody if he plays like that. And that's a Georgia Tech defense that has been pretty bad for most of the second half of the year.
Yeah. Gave up 30 plus to BC, gave up 40 plus to Pitt.
Yeah, they did turn it on late in the game against Pitt, but I never expected Stockton to look that bad against that Georgia Tech unit. Never. And it's a rivalry. Weird things happen. So Stockton's been very good this year. Oklahoma sweats it out versus LSU. 17-13. They get the win. Tied 3-3 at the half. LSU was winning this game in the third, 10-3. In the fourth, 13-10. But then came Santanga time. And I feel like it just happens once a game, Rob, where they throw it up and they get bailed out by Santanga, and it happened again. 58-yard touchdown, 17-13. The Norman's going crazy. That was all she wrote.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I want to credit that to Ben Arbuckle more than anything, because if you look at that play back, there's no one else in the shot but Satania. You know, like he schemed him wide open, and whether it was a blown coverage or what. But you know, I was a big John Mateer truther. Definitely hasn't panned out. He just has too many just dud drives.
3 interceptions in this game,
and the interceptions were rough. You know, ultimately, but like Oklahoma is kind of like that old school SEC, like early 2010s, late 2000s team where they just play phenomenal defense and they just ask their quarterback and their offense to just do enough to win. I don't think that bodes well for a deep playoff run, but I think in terms of the fact that, I mean, their back was against the wall here and they came through.
Yes, they did. You know, forget SEC old school. Like, it's old school Virginia Tech what Oklahoma's doing.
Yeah, it's really ugly. Like
John Mateer, very, very ugly.
John Mateer went from like Heisman, top 3 preseason Heisman guy to they don't have anybody better than John Mateer. It's kind of shocking to see Oklahoma quarterback play that's this poor. I don't know if this team can win a playoff game. Like, I'm not convinced. I feel like if you score 21 points, you're going to beat Oklahoma. But not many teams have been able to score 21 points on Oklahoma.
If they play UVA, they could win.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but they're probably based on the seeding. That's probably not how it's going to go.
Yeah,
but
like,
I am
this is not
where they land in the seeding.
This is not a like positive point for the resume for Oklahoma.
No.
Like 17-13 over this LSU game at home. Like, you know, this might knock them down a peg.
I think it could. Yeah. I think it could. However, they did get the win, and they have like one of the best resumes. They had that Michigan win. Now that took on just a little bit of water, but Michigan's been a good team, and they won that game. And then they have the SEC teams that they played. So I think they're in fine shape. What's that?
The Alabama win.
The Alabama win, of course. Yes. How could I forget? Yes, the Alabama win. So they've got a great resume. But let's talk about one more game before VT Corner. Vandy smashes Tennessee 45-24. Pavia was the story of this game, both for his struggles early and then his heroics later on in the game. 21-21 at the half, couple interceptions, but then Vandy made some defensive adjustments. They only gave up 3 points to the Vols after halftime. Pavia had 165 rush, 268 pass, 2 total touchdowns, and 93 QBR. That play where he was kind of like running down the field, Sam, was just like maybe the Heisman moment, even though it wasn't like in a super like contentious game. It was just such a big play.
Yeah, and this was like a tale of two halves. Perfect example of that. Tennessee was the better team in the first half. Looked like they were on pace to win by 2 scores or so. And then they just stopped. Like, their offense looked terrible. Vandy couldn't be stopped. Everything they wanted to do. I think the thing that's impressing me the most about this Vanderbilt team this year is last year they were spread option, run the ball, run you to death, control the clock, run you to death. This year, they're throwing the ball so well. And when we did our Vanderbilt preview at the beginning of this year, like, one of the major things we talked about was Eli Stowers is good, but he doesn't have a lot of big games. He'll have 1 or 2. And then it's like they have a bunch of decent wide receivers. And that's it. Like, this is a running team. They have 5 or 6 guys that can catch the ball and run after the catch. And they do a great job of scheming them. Pavia has been very good throwing the ball. Their offensive line has done great in pass pro. It's such a complete offense. Alexander's been great.
Like, I know you're talking about those receivers, but like, he had 3 touchdowns in this game.
Do you think if this team makes a playoff, can they win a game?
Yeah.
Because Tennessee has not beaten anybody good.
I mean, Tennessee's just not, their defense never showed up this year. They never showed up once. And
so
I think they can. I think all those teams even beyond Indiana, maybe, like, they're not that far apart. Like,
I mean, they lost to Texas and they lost to Alabama. Who had they beaten who's their best win?
Tennessee is their best win.
Tennessee their best win because
Tennessee is the only
Mizzou was beating them, and then their quarterback broke his ankle.
And Mizzou's not anything special.
So I'm just I would love having Vanderbilt, Indiana, and Texas Tech in the second round of the playoff would be incredible for college football. But I don't think
you know what, Sam?
we're
It's
going
a
to get
good
much more than
question.
that.
Could they beat them? But they're not going to get in, unfortunately. Like because this was like Robert just said, that was their best win. What a great crescendo and glorious crescendo for Vanderbilt fans to beat Tennessee in Knoxville on what has been just an amazing 2-year run. And you're not going to get rewarded the way you probably should for a 10-2 season, but that doesn't mean it wasn't amazingly special. And I'll put this on the screen real quick. We don't have really time to talk about it, but like this is the On3 Heisman poll from this week. Pavia is number 1, Mendoza number 2. What do you think about that, Rob?
I think Mendoza should be 1. I don't really like that. I'm gonna be honest.
I agree.
Okay, you both like Mendoza to be 1, and I probably agree with you guys. We got Sane on here at 3, we got Love on here at 4, and that's probably your top
4th.
Top tier, right? Those top 4 guys.
Yeah,
Pavia had some bad games this year.
He did, and like team success has to be a factor. I know it wasn't for Travis Hunter last year, but
I mean, it wasn't really for Jaden Daniels.
No, but Jaden Daniels is like the Lamar Jackson,
he was so good.
Jaden Daniels exception where statistically it's one of the best seasons of all time. Yeah. No, I think Mendoza and Sagan are ultimately the 2 best players on the 2 best teams, right? So I don't know. And they tops in QBR and every advanced metric. And even if Mendoza's yards are low, like he's only playing 3 quarters a game.
I know.
So
let's take a quick moment to talk about our sponsor, and then we're going to get to VT Corner. College Football Monday is brought to you by Jack and Coke. You can see it right on your screen. 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can at your local grocery and convenience store. It's true. You can get Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey and Coca-Cola Classic, or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, or Jack and Cherry, Jack and Vanilla, the mix pack. You can get them all together in 1 box. They're great. They are fantastic. I was asking Grayson about this on our episode last week about Jack and Coke and what do you get into during the game. And every now and then, after you've had a bunch of beers, you pour yourself one of those Jack and Cokes, grab it out of the cooler at the tailgate. It's just so refreshing, Rob. It really just hits you right in the back, and you're just like, man, I'm ready to go. A little bit of caffeine, a little bit of sugar, Sam. That's the good stuff. You know it. 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke. And when you're having those Jack and Cokes, please drink responsibly. Okay, fellas, it is time for everyone's favorite segment of College Football Monday, and that is VT Corner. And we are coming to you the day after the Commonwealth Cup, or the day after what was a very brutal Sunday after the Commonwealth Cup. And you know what? We're in a good mood. And the reason why is because James Franklin has come in and has completely changed the face of our recruiting. Sam, I knew that he would do well. I'm kind of blown away by what's happened the last week or so.
I admittedly have stopped really following high school recruiting because I don't believe you're a member of the team until you're on that roster in August, right? Like, I don't trust it. However, he's getting dudes in the boat, and you have to assume a few of these guys don't end up in Blacksburg or end up in Blacksburg and don't play and then leave. But the volume of guys he's bringing in is the difference that we haven't seen in Blacksburg in quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And even the guys who are on the, not 4 stars, but the high 3 stars have the size, the frame. They're playing at higher levels of high school football, right? We're not getting any 2A 6'2" offensive linemen anymore, right? These are big boys playing big boy high school football. That to me is the difference. That's the step up, even more so than getting 1 or 2 extra 4 stars than you would have gotten. Like, the whole class being better and the depth and the volume of it is really surprising to be this quick. I thought it would be another week or so, and it's been like hit after hit after hit. Like, every single one of these guys is getting.
Can we talk about
that's coming
today?
visited?
Yeah, I mean, today it a little bit, and then I want to get Robert's opinion on this too, because at noon or 1, quarterback Troy Hoon picked us, And that was fresh on the heels of getting a decommitment by a quarterback, Cole Bergeron. But then we get Hoon in the boat, which was talked about quite a bit, and there was predictions for him to come in. He's a very high 3-star QB on 247, but he's a 4-star in the composite. Number 1 QB in the number 21 QB in the class. And we thought, okay, maybe that's it for today. It was not it. We got a total, and I haven't checked in about an hour, but we got a total of 4 commitments today on Monday. And that's in addition to, what was it, Rob? Like 3 or 4 Thanksgiving week?
I mean, yeah, I've lost count. I'm sitting here. I've got the whole class pulled up. Trying to,
By my count, it was the top 6 recruits in the class were all from the last week.
Yeah. There's eight total, I think, is what we're looking at.
I think that's right.
And like they were 8 of the top 9. Like the only one is Xavion Cleveland is still number 5.
And didn't he reaffirm his commitment?
I don't know if he ever like.
That was he has it. The other Green Run kid, Thomas Wilder.
Thomas Wilder is the
he
one.
Recommitted.
He's the one who recommitted. Now Thomas Wilder is the bigger recruit. He's a
4-star tackle.
Yeah, top 10 guy in the state.
For some reason, I thought I read something about Cleveland, but that's beside the point. Of the guys that came in since Franklin got here in less than 2 weeks since his press conference, it's 4-star Messiah Mickens, the running back from Harrisburg, 4-star Troy Hoon today, the quarterback, 4-star tight end Pierce Peterson, Dodge City, Minnesota. Interesting, getting a Minnesota guy in the boat. 4-star Thomas Wilder, who was committed to the Hokies, decommitted, and is now back. He's a giant man from Green Run in Virginia Beach, as Sam just said. 4-star Marlon Bright is the offensive tackle from Wayne, New Jersey. He committed on the 27th. He is also 6'7", 290. And that's just the 4-stars, right? Like that is so many giant dudes. And then there's more. And I don't know like where we should go from, if we want to talk about those guys first or what, but like to get what is 5 4-stars. I mean, most of our classes don't have 5 4-stars period, let alone 5 in a week.
And we haven't hit the portal time.
Yeah.
Like we haven't hit portal time yet. They're going to get some guys in the portal that are going to be bigger names as well. And there's also plenty of time for some high school recruits. There's still some meat left on the bone from that Penn State class, as well as guys who have taken visits. So it could get really good here in a couple weeks.
So the other ones that committed were the 3-stars. And by 3-star, these are all higher end guys. They're all like 87s, 88s. Matthew Lama, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he's from Nokesville, Virginia. 17 power offers for Lama. Roseby Lubintus, the big dude that was in all the pictures. He is from Sicklerville, New Jersey, right around the corner from me. 6'5", 330. And he's the short one. Like he's absolutely massive. Offensive tackle, 8 power offers, including Florida. 3-star Garrett Witherington was the latest one that came in today. He is a 6'5", 290 defensive lineman from Birmingham. Awesome. 12 power offers, including Miami, Notre Dame, South Carolina. And then Maddox Cochran from Richmond, committed on 11/30, 6'7", 280 offensive tackle. So by my count, Rob, that's a lot of 6'7" guys.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I had to resist the urge. Well, and those last 2 you mentioned, Cochran was a Wisconsin commit, and what's the other kid's name? Witherington was a Kentucky commit. So like those are 2 guys that were already committed to Power 4 programs. I do want to touch on something Sam said. It's like one of the harder things about getting into recruiting is like, in this era, probably at least 25% of these guys are not going to finish their career at Virginia Tech. Like, even if you think about the fact that there are 7 offensive linemen committed currently, which is awesome. Mathematically, that suggests at least 2 of them will leave, right? But at the same time, like I love just it's a momentum game, and I'm sure a lot of these kids like just kind of build off of each other, and especially when you're a program trying to establish itself, like Virginia Tech and James Franklin are. Like,
you guys seeing this name? Tanner Thomas. Is this the Tanner Thomas? who appeared with Billy Ray? He's one of the
He's a party animal.
The Party Animals. Yes, that's
Hey.
right. Former Virginia Tech ball player who is now playing the Savannah Bananas.
I don't know if
Love
it's
it.
the Tanner Thomas, but
It could be.
shout out Tanner Thomas.
Yeah, that's right.
Miss watching you in left field, Tanner.
But
Amazing.
sorry, Rob, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. I just think that it's one of those things where kids see a few other guys go and think, okay, yeah, this program hasn't won a lot recently, but there's something building here. Like, let's run with it.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
like Billy Ray has said this a few times, and you hear other guys who have been through the recruitment process. They all say this is like, you don't commit to the results on the field. You don't commit to the fans. You don't commit to the stadium. You don't commit to the logo. Like, you commit to people and the coaches. Like, that's number one for everybody, because the reality with NIL from the high school level recruiting is pretty much you can get paid anywhere. And unless you are a Bryce Underwood type recruit where you are garnering multi-million-dollar offers right out the gate, the difference in pay really isn't going to be that much, right?
Everyone's got money.
Everyone's got money. Everyone's willing to pay you money. And there is kind of a market value for these guys. So you are committing to people first. That's why I think you're seeing this big influx, because people want to commit to James Franklin. People want to commit to some of the guys that James Franklin has probably added to his staff that aren't totally public yet. People want to play for him because they know what he does and they know he puts guys in the league. I want people to like really think about that when you're getting all of these guys. Is it's awesome they want to come play for Virginia Tech. Can't wait to see them be Hokies. Understand that they are committing to what they believe James Franklin can do to Virginia Tech football.
Yeah. And you know, you always get, typically, new coaches come into a power program, they will get that initial bump. They'll get that initial kind of wave. They'll bring over the commitments they got. They might keep some of the ones they had, makes the class look pretty good. This is not what that normally is. This is what James Franklin has done, is taken the 124th class in the country 2 weeks ago to what is now a top 50. You don't have to reload the page on 247 anymore, guys. We made it. We are number 49 currently, and that's probably only going higher because signing day is on Wednesday and there's more high school guys to be had. I know portals to come, but high school signing day is on Wednesday, and there's whispers that this could end up being a top 25 class. And if that happens, that's Virginia Tech's best class in God knows how long. I mean, a really freaking long time. The average rating per recruit is already 6th in the ACC. It was like, down in the double digits, but we're up to almost an 88 per recruit.
Yeah, and that's the one to go for. Like, that's really what matters. And so I would look for that. Like, if Virginia Tech can finish top 5 in the ACC in that metric, you'd be pretty stoked on this recruiting class, because Tech hasn't touched that in a while.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And this run that he's on, it's like, I was joking on one chat that like, this is playoff Jimmy Butler, what's happening with James. Like, he's turned into Jimmy, and he's the
Himmy.
meme in the yeah, he's Himmy. He's over the side, just like, but he's not exhausted yet. He's got a few more days to go, but I guarantee you he hasn't slept much. But we're up to 16 commits now. Like I said, average is 87.8. So it's getting up there towards the 88 mark. And the 7 offensive linemen that Rob mentioned, that is beautiful. And they're all giants. They're almost all of them are tackles.
If 3 of them work out to be high level power conference starters, amazing.
It's a 40% hit. We can do that, right? Like, and so I was going to ask, so this is on the screen first, and this will link nicely into my question for you. When do you think Franklin will name his staff? Do you think it'll trickle out, or will we get like 5 names at once? Like, how's that going to work?
I think you're going to get a cluster of names at once, and then after that, you'll fill in position coaches. I think you'll get the coordinator hires probably pretty quick.
Do you think so?
I think so.
Okay.
I think within the next 2 weeks, probably.
It won't take 40 days past Christmas like last year?
No, I don't think so. Something tells me it won't.
Yeah, that's good. I will say Sean Quinn was retweeting the bat signals today. So I don't know what that says.
Oh, Is that right? Sean
about
Quinn, who's
his-
currently on staff, was he with the Star? He used to be Stars. I don't know what his role was.
He just became like outside linebackers.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Sean Quinn. And then I was going to ask about the offensive line stuff. Since we are recruiting, we've brought in so many in the last couple of days. Does that indicate we know who our offensive line coach is? Not we, but
I mean, I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
I feel like in terms of connections, be it, Matt Moore is an awesome offensive line coach, but then Adam Troutwine at Penn State is one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. And I know I'm about the third of a size of an offensive lineman, but I have done my research on this guy, and he puts dudes in the league. I think since he took the Penn State job in 2020, Penn State is like top 5 in the country in terms of offensive linemen drafted in the NFL.
Damn.
And before he was at Penn State, he was at Boston College. And my favorite stat ever is the 2019 Boston College offensive line. All 5 of them made all ACC.
Oh my God! Like
At
first, second, or
Boston
third
College.
team or whatever. Yeah,
It was.
They
and then
always had
one
good
was
lines.
honorable mention
Because
but
that was
still.
Adazio's holdovers, right? Like he did really well.
Some of them, but there was a true
Yeah.
freshman on there too. I remember.
Yeah, I think it is. It's tough because I think that's the position where we'd feel the most comfortable with holding over the coach. Maybe running backs, but like if James Franklin come out and say Matt Moore is staying at offensive line coach, we'd all consider that a
We're
win.
good with that. Yeah,
We'd be awesome
100%.
with that. But like Robert said, you're going from like an A to an A plus, an offensive line coach. I think there are a lot of other position coaches he needs to figure out. I'm going to guess he has offensive coordinator. It's not public, but I'm going to guess he has offensive coordinator done. Defense, I think, is the question mark here.
Do you think it would be hard to get Troy Hoon to commit without him having a conversation with the offensive coordinator?
I would have issues with Troy Hoon's decision making if he committed to a school who had not decided on an offensive coordinator, coach.
Across the country. Yeah, because he's from California. Yeah.
That's true. Do you have issues with Peyton Falzone's decision making?
The coach killer?
Former Hokie commit Peyton Falzone has now committed to 3-4 different schools, and all of them have fired or changed their coaches.
Virginia Tech, Penn State, Auburn.
It's tough,
Yep,
man.
brutal.
That's tough. Feel kind of bad. For him.
Yeah, I mean, Tech is going to bring in a portal quarterback.
Yes.
You got Pop Watson, and then you got a couple of freshmen coming in probably. So, I think quarterback they have a pretty good idea of. It seems like offensive line, obviously they do. Bring in a running back. Who knows with that one, but I think they've had OC for a while.
Okay. I
Is
hope
that an educated guess, or is that just you're just spitballing?
I mean, Sam has been talking a little bit about Ronnie for a while now.
Sammy Scoop?
I've been talking about Ronnie because I'm pretty sure I know Tech made a move there. What that answer is, I don't know, but if they made one move, they probably made 2 or 3 others. Somebody said yes. I don't know who it is, but somebody said yes. I'm willing to bet that Tony Rojas is going to be at Virginia Tech next year.
Oh yeah. That's what we want. We like that guy.
Nova kid, linebacker, really highly rated recruit, played well at Penn State. Did he have some injuries this year?
Yes, he's out for the year.
Yeah, okay.
This one is Robert Irby has been all over this. This is a Colton Joseph question. If we're getting Ronnie, would Joseph come
Cali
too?
Cowboy, baby.
Yes, he would. I don't know if it's Ricky Ronnie, and I don't know if Ricky Ronnie's the best option either. I really
don't know either. I mean, he's been and Ricky Ronnie has not been calling his plays of the last.
No, because he is an offensive coordinator who's also brilliant.
Right.
And
Kevin
if it's
Decker.
He's a Fordham guy, right?
Ronnie, was he a Fordham guy too? With those other
So
guys?
would Virginia
They
Tech
all were at some
hire
point.
back-to-back Penn State coaches and then back-to-back Fordham offensive coordinator? Well, not back-to-back, but with
I mean, why don't we just hire Bowen back?
Bowen,
Bring
Bowen's
the band
Fordham,
back together.
OC.
Oh, shut up.
Hey, Robert, that Ohio State offensive line looks pretty good.
They're about to win. Bowen's about to win a natty.
Bowen said, "Hey, what size ring am I?"
Yeah, he made the right decision scooting out of town. I'll tell you that right now, fellas. I think we need to bring down the happiness for 1 second. UVA game, and we don't have a ton to say about this tonight, but we have to say a couple things. There were a few last-minute scratches before the game in terms of our players. We had no Aiden Green. We didn't have Hawkins at running back. And I called Sam before the game to kind of see how he was feeling. He was feeling bad.
Bad.
I was feeling more optimistic than him. But that quickly vanished. And like the first play, Rob, like the first play, they kick it off. We bring it out of the end zone. And we get stopped on like the 10 or something?
No, it was like the 7.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Even better. And it's just like we're not going to drive all the way down the field right now to score. Like it was such a shot across the bow in my mind of like, oh crap. And we did move the ball. Like it was typical, like, okay, we'll move the ball a little bit. And then as soon as the rubber meets the road, Sam, it just stops. And we just continue to make mistakes.
They found a way in a year of really bad offensive performances. They found a year to play their worst one. 19% success rate. It's the lowest on the season. That is one of the lowest in power conference football over the last 3 seasons. I believe there's only been 2 lower.
Are you serious?
Is bad.
19 is pretty tough. Like 19% pretty much means in less than 1 in 5 plays is like, that was a good play.
Yeah. What's the like typical yard like threshold on that? Like a run play versus pass play?
So the easiest way to think about it, and this isn't how all of them are calculated directly, but is getting half of your yardage on first down, 2/3 of your yardage to go on second down, and all of the yardage on third and fourth down, or scoring a touchdown. Those are successful plays. So like, if you think about it, if you were to go like 4 yards on first down and then no yards the other 2, like that would be 0 for 3. You have a 0%. And then you kind of add on the plays and you go from there. So 19% pretty much means you didn't go forward at all. like not even once in like you were going 1 or 2 yards and then stopping, quitting the drive. Tech punted 7 straight times in this game.
Yes,
7
that's what I have on the
times.
screen right now from David Teal. Hokies have gained 28 yards since first quarter. Their last 7 drives have been 3 and out. 7
like
drives.
Like do I get angry on this podcast or do I wait till 2?
I mean, we have to at least mention it. Like they started Drones. It's his last game as a Hokie. He started every game that he's been healthy for. I get it. But at some point, it was just pathetic. Like, how do you not give Pop a chance? How do you not, like, even if you didn't want to start him, how do you not give him a chance when we're going on the 4th or 5th 3 and out, maybe the 6th 3 and out?
Or like add some semblance of variety to your offensive play call.
I was told we had a package for him, Robert. Oh, I need to save it. I need to save it.
I would like any package. We ran like the same 5.
There was no tricks. There was no like creativity. No. Like there's nothing to lose.
This is the last game of your season. Philip Montgomery, this is your last game as a head coach ever. Like,
could be.
Open up the daggone playbook, my boy. Come on.
Yeah, the QB decision. And I understood it. And I wasn't as passionate about Pop starting as Sam was, but like as soon as it started to go bad, it's like, all right, let's give some juice. Like
it really has nothing to do, like it doesn't. Not that it has nothing to do with Kyron, but obviously it's not all Kyron Jones' fault.
It's not.
It's like that's so obvious. And honestly, part of the reason Virginia Tech's been able to move the ball at all is because of Kyron's running, right, and running hard. But It seems like the coaches quit before the players did this season.
Yeah. And who knows what's in the NIL contract? I heard some people talking about that. Like, is he guaranteed to start if healthy in his contract? I don't know. I don't know how
would-
that shit works. I don't know how that's enforceable, but that's one thing. The other thing is, it was his worst game. Like he started a
he's
lot
had
of
some bad
games.
ones.
He started a lot of games and he's had some bad games. And by his QBR and his passer rating, this was his worst game of all his starts at Virginia Tech in the Commonwealth Cup.
Yeah.
I find it very hard to believe that playing Kyron Drones gave us the best chance to win that game. I find that very hard to believe.
No, and he's such a, and he always has been like just such a like rhythmic quarterback, like momentum dependent quarterback.
Yep.
Like his highs are high and they keep going, but when he is low, it just spirals. And this was the most extreme version of that. And again, either you bench him and you put in the guy that tore UVA up last year. I know it was a different UVA team, but you know he at least has that killer instinct and can go out there and try to make something happen. Or again, you open up the playbook and you do something to get Kyron into rhythm.
Or to just create a spark. Like that's a thing for me. It's not even about Pop's play. It's that it would signal to the team that's out there, who is a lot of second stringers and a lot of backups, and I know that too. It would signal like, hey, the coaches all of a sudden care. Pop brings the juice. He's an excitable guy. It might have given you something. And like for a little while there, it wasn't completely out of reach. And then it started to get to be scary hours, Rob, because I was pretty concerned about the scoring streak. Not going to lie. Not that I don't really care about the scoring streak, but I didn't want to get shut out by UVA. Like,
no, that would have been that looks like truly worst case scenario. So I'm glad it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Shout out Snook Peterkin. Thanks for getting open and that was great.
Yeah, Snook
you're,
the crook,
you're a
man.
hero for that.
He stole one. Some of higher rated G5 QBs included Drew Messmaker and Colton Joseph. I think this is Godfrey talking about some of the guys potentially in the portal. I think Messmaker is going to end up at Oklahoma State.
I would be shocked if he didn't follow his coach there, but I would also be beside myself if we got him. That kid is amazing.
Former walk-on, correct?
I think so.
I think he was. But we're going to talk about that coaching carousel in just 1 second. I do want to tell you that College Football Monday is brought to you by Rhoback. You guys know Rhoback, the performance activewear designed for those who crave activity. You can use our code 2DEEPVT to get 20% off your first order. They have the hoodies, the tees, the quarter zips, joggers, and of course the polos. Tons and tons of designs, so many different schools, so many different varieties of tech polos. I know Rob's got some, I've got some, and Sam's got some, and they are super comfortable. Go to their site, rhoback.com, load up your car, and use code 2DEEPVT for 20% off that order. That 2DEEPVT code is also good at Compass Coffee, one of the best coffee shops in the Nova and DC area. They've been killing it with their promos and whatnot, but not much better than 2DEEPVT to get you a nice discount on your order from Compass Coffee. If you don't live in the DC area, that's fine. They'll ship it right to your house. You load up your cart to a certain point, you'll get free shipping. Use code 2DEEPVT at compasscoffee.com. Good coffee doesn't have to be complicated. Fellas, let's do a quick beer break and relax before we do coaching carousel, because I am looking forward to talking about Kentucky and UCLA and all these places. But Robert, are you drinking anything over there tonight?
I am. I think I made the joke in the Suns chat that Thomas Jefferson is hashtag not my founding father. So drinking Sam Adams.
There you go.
This is the Winter White Ale. I messed up because I got the Winter White Ale confused with the Winter Lager, which the Winter Lager has always been one of my favorites, but I don't know if they discontinued it or what.
No, it's there. It's out.
This is the Winter White Ale. Definitely not what I was expecting it to be. It's good. It goes for that winter spice, that citrus and clove kind of taste. However, it does taste like you just took a bunch of clove and just like dumped a whole barrel of it into
Is there any like
the brew?
pine? Is there any pininess to it? No.
Okay. No, it tastes like, and I mean, if you like the clove spice, it's good. It just, the first time you taste it, it's kind of hits you. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
But it goes down fine. It's kind of like I don't know if those like when you were in school, did you ever have to do like as a project during the winter where you take like an orange and you put clove in it and it was just like a science project to like make an air freshener?
Yes,
That's
I
what
remember
that's
those
what it
days.
tastes like, basically. So
So it's very different than the winter lager.
correct. Yeah.
I did see the mix pack of Sam that had like the old Fezziwig, that one, maybe the winter, and then something else. But I'm not a white ale guy. Like it's
I'm
just
not either. I didn't
not
read
my
the
go-to.
package carefully, so
Hey, you got to try something new every now
power
and again.
through. Yeah.
Yes. Sam, what are you having?
We're letting the Fitz talk tonight.
Oh,
Finishing up the Edmund Fitzgerald Porter from Great Lakes. Elite beer. Very, very good. I've talked about it on the show before, but I was in Austin, Texas over Thanksgiving. I went to a couple breweries. Truth be told, I turned the game off at halftime, rewatched a little bit of it, and I went to 7th Ave to the bars, okay? Because I'm not letting that ruin my Thanksgiving Saturday.
sounds
The game,
fun.
the turns out the game was on all the TVs, but so there was no escaping the sadness. But two of my favorite beers I had out there, the Three Little Pigs from Lazarus Brewing Company in Austin. It was a sweet potato porter, delicious, tasted like sweet potato pie. Incredible Thanksgiving beer.
I'm
And
into
then
it.
here's one for you fellas. Did not expect this. From Zilker Brewing Company, right across the street on 7th Ave. The Thirst Fest, a Hellas Lager. I gave it a 4.25. This thing was delicious. I had one and I took 3 sips and I immediately went to the bar and said, give me 2 more. It was incredible. And it was a new beer. It's like a new beer that they had.
So is there any it's just a Hellas? Like it's
just
nothing
a Hellas,
special?
and it was just so good.
Okay.
It was so good. I might have been a little bit emotionally vulnerable to a beer at that point, but it was really good. The Thirst Fest from Zilker Brewing
I mean,
Company. If you're in
sometimes those
Texas,
Hellas lagers just when you're say you've had a couple porters, you've had some
Mhm.
other things, and you get that
Mhm.
crisp Hellas. Oh
Yeah.
my God, they can be so
Yep.
good and so refreshing.
Advantage of you.
Yep, it was very good.
Show
so
me
those
on
are
the
some that I had in
bottle.
Austin, Texas.
I am drinking the Schlafly Christmas Ale. It's got a nice Christmas tree on there. You guys are probably familiar with Schlafly. You've all had their pumpkin. The Christmas is awesome. This is a really freaking good beer. It is just the typical spiced Christmas ale. Like what you want in a Christmas ale, this will deliver to you. 8% alcohol. So it's got a little punch to it. You don't taste it. Got that winter warmer kind of going down. But yeah, all those spices, caramel, malty kind of thing. It's all here. It's a beautiful bottle. I highly recommend this thing. At least a 4.0 for me on this. I feel like I've had it before, but every year with these Christmas, sometimes they're a little different. The Mad Elf every year is a little different. I've got a Naked Elf in my fridge, not a real one, but the beer. And I will be having that in a couple weeks. I've got another Cape May, Marion Bright I'm going to have in a couple weeks. But this one's really good. So great beer break, fellas. Let's get to the coaching carousel. Kentucky. They did it, Sam. You were talking about this for a long time. They fired Mark Stoops. You can see in Robert's description.
I told y'all in July they were firing this dude.
Yeah, you did. And I didn't think it was going to happen. And I still don't think it would happen without 41-0 from Louisville this past weekend.
Dude was a walking corpse for like 5 or 6 years now. Overrated coach. He won like 8 games one year in a down SEC East, and y'all thought it was Paul Bear Bryant. I don't know what it was.
To go to bowl games, or was hard to go to bowl games at Kentucky. And Mark Stoops found a way, and he found a way to beat us in a bowl game. And he was the D-line and offensive line recruiting he did for a long time was very impressive.
I just
put out good running backs.
Yeah.
They just never did anything super impressive.
But he started to go like this, and he couldn't turn it around. And now his buyout of $37 million is a top 5 buyout of all time.
And it's a lump sum.
Right. He's getting that money. Like it's coming.
Like immediately. Yes.
It's nuts.
I don't know exactly what Kentucky has been thinking the last 5 or 6 years.
Well, they had 2 choices here, neither of which was good. Pay the buyout or lose as much money on buy-in. from the fans. Like that at some point you have to signal like we're doing something and you need to rally the donors. And they could have stood to lose more money by keeping him, potentially.
I do think at Kentucky, it's one of the few schools where the fan base can turn off football. So I do get that. But I think this was always going to end like this, unfortunately, for Kentucky.
Yeah, so options. I feel like I just saw something come across the wire about a new coach at Kentucky. Did you guys see this?
Do I need to?
There were two guys that were being talked about, one of which was Will Stein.
Oh, yeah. It's Will
done.
Stein. Will Stein.
They got Will Stein?
Yeah.
Yes, which is insane if you think about Will Stein played at Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
That is a huge, huge deal for that rivalry.
It really is. It's kind of very surprising that that it happened this quickly. But I guess this has been in the works. But yeah, Kentucky guy, but he was a Louisville, Kentucky guy prior to this. So that is an interesting thing. He's the Oregon OC, if you're not aware, Will Stein. I liked him as a potential candidate for Virginia Tech when we were talking about him. But the other option they had been bantied about on a couple of podcasts was Dan Mullen to Kentucky, which I don't think would have been a terrible fit.
I think that would have made sense. Dan Mullen's OC, also Louisville player. So that would have been interesting as well. But yeah, that hire makes sense. It's an exciting one. Will Stein doesn't have head coaching experience. So welcome to college football. You get to coach in the SEC. But yeah, that's really interesting. If he could, I don't see him like bringing guys over from Oregon. It may be one or two, but he's certainly someone who knows what a competent high-level program looks like. And that is sometimes half the battle.
Yeah. It is funny when you hire a coordinator, you don't get to completely steal and ravage a roster when you leave.
Yeah.
Especially one that's about to compete in the college football playoff. At UCLA, word on the street, Thamel today, they are working out a deal for Bob Chesney. I thought that was pretty interesting. Big change of scenery for Bob in that he's going from Holy Cross to Harrisonburg to now LA. And it may, something Robert said earlier in the chat, like this could put a stop on some of his recruits following him.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's a pretty drastic move to have to make. Like if you're Alonzo Barnett and grew up in North Carolina, went to college in Virginia, you want to go play your senior year out in California? Maybe. But also that's quite an undertaking. But I think he'll Coach Cutie, as they call him in Harrisonburg, he'll handle his own in California.
My wife agrees with that. I've called him a good-looking guy on this podcast at least 7 times.
I've said he looks like a 40-year-old who still goes to the skate park.
Yeah.
There's so many skate parks in California, dude.
He's going to love Venice Beach.
Concrete is a badass. All right. Oklahoma State hires Eric Morris from North Texas. This seems like a perfect fit. Like we don't have to spend so much time on this, but this seems like a perfect fit. They needed something desperately.
This feels like a match made in heaven.
Yeah. Air that bitch out.
And they'll probably get a nice quarterback to come along with Morris and some other players from a very good North Texas team. And they were 1-11 this year, was Oklahoma State. The worst power conference team in the SP+.
Yeah, they were really bad.
Stanford hires Tavita Pritchard, Commanders QB coach, who was on staff at Stanford from 2010 to 2022. So he is very familiar with Stanford.
And he played there.
And he'll be working directly under Andrew Luck, one of the few programs who has a very empowered general manager in Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I mean, they played on the same teams together. They were both quarterbacks on the same team. So it's, I mean, in terms of culture fit, it's certainly there. I don't really know how to judge his coaching acumen because, he's like, I don't know. He's never even been a coordinator.
Being a quarterback coach to head coach is an interesting transition. You know who did that? Andy Reid did that. We hired Brett Favre's quarterback coach from Green Bay, Andy Reid, and it worked out quite well. but you just never know.
Dabo Sweeney was a wide receivers coach.
At Michigan State, they fired Jonathan Smith after just 2 seasons. 9-15 was his record. 4-14 in the Big Ten. $33 million buyout. I guess they don't care because they got out of the Mel Tucker buyout, Sam.
How did that not work? Like, Jonathan Smith went from home run hire, well-respected coach, back-to-back 10-win seasons at Oregon State in the Pac-12, right? When the Pac-12 was maybe the best. They won 10 games in the Pac-12 when the Pac-12 was the best conference in the country that year.
It's true.
With DJ Uiagalelei.
I mean, insanity. And then he gets to Michigan State, and that team looks awful.
I heard rumblings middle of the year that he just was not. He didn't take to it. Like, he wasn't schmoozing the donors. He wasn't locked in with anybody.
There was a story that Michigan State's NIL fund collective thing, some checks were bouncing.
Ooh.
And that caused some issues. That was a couple years ago. That was, I guess, last offseason. Last offseason. So
did you hear who they're hiring?
Is it not Nick Saban for another round?
It's not Nick Saban coming back to East Lansing. It is Pat Fitzgerald.
It is. I did see that. That's a great hire. He's gonna he's gonna look so good in that forest green. Oh, love it.
Hazy IPAs all around and East Lansing. No, I am skeptical of I like Pat Fitzgerald. We talked about him for Virginia Tech and we kind of talked ourselves into it a bit. The idea, this was a long time ago, like before Franklin, before all that stuff. We're like, that might be a pretty good idea, maybe. But the end of his tenure at Northwestern didn't go very well at all.
No, I do wonder how he will take to the NIL game, because he's such a developmental coach. But I will also say, in this era, a lot of programs, success is going to be being competitive enough in the NIL to get some guys. And then once every 3 or 4 years, you step up and have a 9-10 win season, maybe.
Yeah.
He's a pretty great coach for that.
I do think that I would think that he'll embrace NIL well, because, I mean, if you think about, and I think part of why Jonathan Smith was let go so quickly is, Michigan State just hired a new athletic director in Jay Batt, who was at Georgia Tech and is the one who hired Brent Key. And before that, he was Alabama's top fundraiser. So this is a very fundraising oriented guy. He got more money funneled into Georgia Tech's athletics than maybe ever. And they're dropping bags of cash on players, right? And I don't think Jay Batt would fire a coach after only 2 seasons to bring in a guy who was not going to be all in on the money game.
Yeah, and he's had some time to reflect too, and Pat Fitzgerald, and he's still not very old. Like, I know he's been around a while, but he was such a young coach when he first got hired that he might be younger than Bob Chesney. Like, he really might be. Yeah. I have to look that up. But let's move on to Oregon State. They hired Jamarcus Shepard, co-OC at Bama. I don't have a ton here, but Oregon State they are up Schitt's Creek without a paddle right now.
And it sucks too, because off of those 2 really good seasons, they made really awesome renovations to their stadium. They have a good fan base who sells out that place. It's a really cool stadium, game day atmosphere setup they got the chainsaws and everything. It's awesome. And like, they took one of the biggest gut punches in college football history. They did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how can they get back? I mean, he's obviously knows offensive football. He's done pretty well. And I just am curious how he's going to recruit that area, how they're going to build out their staff, what their scheduling looks like going forward. Like, they have so many questions, and they have money problems, because in the Pacific Northwest, you're never going to get the total buy-in unless you're Oregon or Washington. Like, Boise State has money problems, and Boise State's been one of, if not the winningest college football program in the last 25 years.
They just went to the playoff and secured a huge bag by doing so.
Yeah.
I was
but
even
say,
Boise
like
State
doesn't
if not
have
5th in that area.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to out recruit Washington. You're not going to out recruit Oregon. You're going to have trouble with the California schools. Like, it's a tough job.
Wazoo.
You need to you need to do something different. So maybe they think this is something a little different that they could do. I thought Ed Orgeron would get this. He said he wanted this job early on. You want to do something different. You want to do something weird. Go for it.
Might
So
get the donors involved. You hire Coach O.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't go like outside the box.
Oregon, pretty close.
Makes sense.
You could have done something there with that.
Orgeron State. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say it feels a lot like, it almost feels like when Syracuse hired Fran Brown, because you are bringing in this very strong recruiter, and hoping that he can work some magic with your situation. And now, granted, Fran Brown has maybe thought too far outside of the box, signing a 25-year-old rapper to play wide receiver today. But
I missed
the concept makes sense.
All right, let's talk about Colorado State. Jim Mora takes it from Stores to where is Colorado State? In
Fort Collins.
Fort Collins. Yes, there it is. The Rams. I did not see Jim Mora leaving Connecticut. I just felt like he was comfortable there. That's what I had heard and seen in articles, and then all of a sudden he's leaving for what is, I don't know, it's a better job from probably a quality of life living in Colorado, but
I don't know. Have you seen rich people in Connecticut? They seem pretty stoked on life.
They do.
Yeah, but he has to live in that haunted mansion. You remember that college game day feature about how like all the UConn coaches live in the same house?
They have to live in the same house?
Yes. Or like every head coach has lived in this mansion.
I will say
it's like haunted.
Stores, Connecticut's like the middle of nowhere. It's farm country out there.
Okay, but just in terms of college football, like to me, it seems like a lateral move.
I would say it's not, and I think the reason why is I think there's a reason why the only two independent teams left are Notre Dame and UConn, because every other independent team has joined a conference. From a TV and a money standpoint, unless you're Notre Dame, there's just no viability to it. And UConn is just in such a weird spot where they're the only school in the Big East with a competent football program. So it's like, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
Whereas Colorado State they're going to the new Pac-12.
Yeah, right? I think they're going to be in the new Pac-12.
Yeah,
so that is a factor.
You're also looking at, like, by no means a sleeping giant, but also Colorado State's like a big state school. And you might have a little bit, like, they should be better at football than they are, right?
They should be.
So maybe he thinks like, hey, this is it. But also, he's hit his ceiling at UConn, and his quarterback's gone. I don't like. Does he really want to do the rebuild thing at UConn again? I don't know.
I just felt like he was at a point in his career. Maybe he would stay, but like it doesn't matter to me. It's interesting because if anything, I feel like Moore could have got a better job.
Yeah, no, he definitely could have. I think, especially right now with what's going on. Like, would Kentucky hire him?
What about USF or Tulane or all these schools that just lost their coaches?
Dude, Penn State wouldn't have liked it, but that would have been a damn good hire.
That's what's he was the head coach at UCLA. He goes to UConn and he does his thing. It's just like, why Colorado State?
He's also a West Coast guy. Like he's from
Yeah, he is. What if he just really he's from LA, but like what if he really likes ski?
I mean, yeah.
Like what if it's
probably awesome to live there, honestly. So anyway, let's move on to Coastal firing Tim Beck. We're not going to comment too much on this, but they went 6-6 this year, and Coastal said, fuck that.
I didn't know that happened, so no analysis here.
I think Coastal is like they had one good year where all the other players were sick. And now they think that they're like better at football all of a sudden.
Yeah, but they had some sick mullets.
They had some good years. They had some good years of Chad.
I don't know, man. Like this is screaming to me like a program that like thinks they're something that they're not. Like the teal field, all the different uniforms. They've been good like 2 years in their entire history. Baseball school.
Yeah, and if you keep firing coaches quick, it could go downhill. But they were so bad earlier in the year. And I thought Tim Beck rallied them a bit, and then they had some injury problems. Like I'm not so sure how justified this is, but maybe he was rubbing people the wrong way. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's about all we can say on Coastal. As for the openings that are left, Penn State's the big one. Have you guys heard of this Mormon Moana talk?
That would be really interesting. I saw someone today.
That's Kalani Sitake.
Yes.
I don't know if that's. I probably shouldn't have said that, but that was on.
I think it's hilarious,
and it was very funny.
He's a really good football coach.
I can't tell what's real anymore on Twitter. I don't think anybody can. It sounded like something was happening. Either BYU was extending him, or Penn State was hiring him.
Well, the Crumble Cookies CEO, who is a BYU donor, was tweeting about how he was going to get involved.
BYU is one of those schools that has like Marriott also has a lot of money in BYU athletic, like a lot.
But the thing with
the Mormon Mafia, man,
wasn't there like a issue between him and the admins at BYU?
I don't know.
I
would hope there was no issue when he's won 22 games.
I heard
he's won 22 games in 2 years.
He's really freaking good. He's really good.
I heard somebody say on Twitter, and again, I should cite my sources like a decent journalist, but the hire felt very much like Bronco Mendenhall to UVA, where you're like, really good coach, weird fit.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we can get over fit, like say like fit is overrated, but if it's a weird fit, it might not work out. I don't know.
It worked for Bronco.
It feels a little
until he quit.
Yeah.
Well, it almost feels a little Brian Harson-y.
Yeah.
Ooh,
where he's
like we're grasping at straws a little bit.
Yeah, because our first 7 guys said no. This is the only
seems like
capable coach available. It's not a cultural fit. I'm not saying Penn State's going to fabricate extra.
Well, I'll tell you what, they don't have to fabricate anything at Penn State.
Yeah, they probably don't need any other coaching scandals. But yeah, and Auburn firing Gus Malzahn probably was hasty. Penn State fired James Franklin. Makes sense.
We think like is it surprising that
good comp, Rob?
Like if that's the best Penn State can do?
I think that's actually pretty good. I didn't even consider it as an option. I think that's better than some of the other. It's better than Matt Rule to me.
It's
better,
but like
the question
shouldn't they be like taking some I don't know. And that's such a
but they're getting
BYU
everybody
such
an
a
extension.
special.
That's the problem, Sam. Like they wanted Drink, they wanted these other guys, and they couldn't get them.
So what is it about Penn State that these guys don't like? Because they like 100% Eli Drinkowitz had a call with Penn State. 100% that call happened. What is it about that call that is not going well for these guys?
I don't know.
I think he just wanted a raise from Missouri. And
do you think that this is
same with Brom at Louisville?
Kind of just an aside, but like Penn State being as high up in the Northeast as they are, it's not so far from Ohio State or Notre Dame in terms of like regionality, but it is it's kind of like the only powerhouse like left up there.
Mm-hmm.
Does that maybe a reason why it's kind of like you don't get the southern, you don't have that recruiting area maybe?
I mean, within 3 hours of Penn State's campus, though, you get to some pretty damn good high school football.
I know you do. And Pennsylvania is still a really good state. I'm just saying, like
Northeast Ohio to New Jersey. I do think you need a guy who has some of that like Allegheny flavor to him. Yeah. Like you would need a Northeast Ohio, Pennsylvania type guy.
A Brent Pry.
I mean, dude, Brent Pry's going to get a big. He's going to get a big DC check. Jim Moore would have been a really good hire for them.
Yeah, I also apparently Todd McShay went on the Bill Simmons podcast and was suggesting that Jimmy Sexton, on behalf of James Franklin, might be kind of going scorched earth on Penn State and their AD, and kind of blackballing some candidates.
And this is why I think. Oh, but I was going to say like, this is why I think NFL is a route that Penn State could take.
But Jimmy Sexton represents a lot of those guys too.
Yeah.
And if it was Brian Daboll, it already would be Brian Daboll.
I agree, Rob. I think that's a bad idea.
There
I
are
think
some
Penn
red
State knows
flags
it's a
for
bad
him
idea.
too, though.
But the McShay piece is interesting only from the aspect of McShay hates Franklin. He thinks the worst of Franklin. And so that should just be caveated in that Bill Simmons conversation. At Cal, this is the last one that Cal supposedly very interested in Tosh Lapoy, the Oregon DC. So that would be good for them. I cannot believe they beat SMU with their.
I think they should just promote Rolovich.
Yeah.
Like Rolovich was a good coach at Wazoo, and then didn't want to get vaccinated, and now he's interim coach at Cal. So
another COVID reference in this episode.
Like
that's what happened.
It is what happened.
There are some pretty darn good FCS coaches that I feel like should get a job here coming up pretty soon.
Ooh, yeah.
One
of the Montana or Dakota coaches. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the guy at Tarleton State right now?
Oh, yeah. Well, they might end up moving up,
I forget his game. They want to move up.
Yeah.
There are some interesting names that are going to fill out from the FCS ranks that I think Cal would be a good landing spot for some of them. Like, not a ton of pressure. Build your program. You have the GM set up there with Ron Rivera that you can maybe leverage.
You've also got all those American jobs just opened for any of those guys. So you got Tulane, USF, Memphis, UNT, Coastal, UAB. Like, they all need coaches.
Yep.
And so let's move on. Other notable results from this past weekend. Indiana smoked Purdue. Texas Tech, 49-0 over West Virginia. Notre Dame, another crush job. Miami took care of Pitt. I don't think Pitt's an awful team, but when they played anyone that was decent, like, they looked terrible. they really did. BYU got their shit together to cover against a UCF after a bad start. I was happy to see that. Oregon kept Washington in arm's length, 26-14 final. Moore was pretty good in that game. 4 sacks for the Oregon defense as well. Or Ole Miss, light work of Mississippi State, 38-17. I thought the Bulldogs would cover that one. That was bad read by me in that one. Georgia smothered Georgia Tech, 16-9. We talked about Stockton earlier. Arizona caps off an amazing season with a win over ASU.
Yeah, I mean, how did they get to 9-3? I don't know how. Like, that is,
and they were this close to beating BYU.
They were, and they did it so well. And then to go on the road, and I know Arizona State didn't have Sam Levitt; they were playing with Jeff Sims, but to go on the road and win that game, super duper impressive. Now, I will say, Arizona State looked like the better team for much of that game, except for Jeff Sims had 3 turnovers. And that was really the difference in that game. And, like, if I'm Arizona State, blank check Sam Levitt. Whatever you want. Whatever you want, dude. You get it.
You know he's good. You know he can work with the coach. Like, just do it. So that was a great win for Arizona. They go to 9-3 on the year. Iowa destroyed Nebraska 40-16. Bad ending to the season for Matt Rule the last 2 weeks. USC beat UCLA, 124 rush yards for King Miller and 2 touchdowns. Penn State won a wild game versus Rutgers to go to a bowl. In the ACC, we talked about Cal blowing a big lead and then recovering and had the clutch drive. JKS was awesome in this game. Like, he was really freaking good. 330 and 4 touchdowns.
Does he hit the portal?
I sure hope so. I'd love to see him in Blacksburg.
See, he's from the Northwest, right?
He's from Hawaii.
Oh, he's from Hawaii. Okay. Yeah. I guess I'm mixing it up with the Oregon commitment.
His name is Jaron Kiawea Sungapula.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I should have. I think I knew that, but he was committed to Oregon, so then I got a little confused. Duke beat Wake convincingly thanks to 4 turnovers. Wake outgained them by almost 100 yards and lost by 17 points. Louisville blanked Kentucky. Talked about that. Clemson got the best of South Carolina. Big Palmetto Bowl for Dabo. Rob, you're close to this. 5 sacks, pick 6 to seal it. This had to feel good for Clemson fans.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was the game was a stink fest. I'll be honest. Like, these are two not good football teams. But South Carolina played arguably their worst game of the year, and Clemson was just less bad. So I think if you're a Clemson fan, it's more of like you're just kind of like, I wouldn't even say a sigh of relief. It's just like okay, that's over. Let's move on. Could have been a lot worse kind of thing.
BC spanked Syracuse. Fran Brown had the worst finish to a season maybe ever. Florida smacked FSU 40-21. NC State does what they always do to UNC 42-19. Belichick finishes 4-8 in year one. He's back, baby. 39 commitments. Let's ride.
Do not, whatever you do not look at Bill Belichick's record as a head coach without Tom Brady starting at quarterback. Don't do it. Don't do it.
We got a couple comments here. Coach Monty was checked out before this game. Maybe. James Franklin is doing exactly what we needed, and everyone is paying attention.
That's the key. That's the
Dale
key is
Kaiser.
people paying attention, not just the kids, but just nationally.
Yeah.
You get a narrative going that changes everything.
In the G6, Navy took down Memphis at home, 28-17, moved to 9-2. New Mexico fucked up San Diego State's season. Both teams finished 9-3. But San Diego State is out of the Mountain West Championship. Boise comes back to beat Utah State by 1. Another championship game appearance for the Broncos. UNLV takes care of Nevada to finish 10-2 and will play Boise in that Mountain West Championship. North Texas whipped my Temple Owls 52-25. They couldn't cover for me, boys. Mestamaker 366 and 3 touchdowns. Jacksonville State bested Western Kentucky to clinch the CUSA title game. Troy beat Southern Miss to make the Sun Belt Championship, and JMU is destroying everything in their path. All right, championship games, fellas. Then we're going to do Robert's playoff fix, and then we're going to do our picks. So in the championship games, Friday, we got Kennesaw State at Jacksonville State. 1.5-point favorites are the other Gamecocks. How do you feel, Sam?
Hoot hoot.
Oh, you're going with the Owls.
Yep.
Kennesaw State's the Owls, by the way. If people don't
I
know
have been thoroughly impressed when I've watched Kennesaw State this year. They have a very dynamic offense. Defensively, they play fast. I'm really impressed with Kennesaw State. And I'll tell you what, some of the best uniforms in college football.
Yeah, they are kind of sweet.
You got the owl feathers on the sleeve. Pretty sick.
Yeah, Rob, how you feeling about the Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State game?
I'm on Kennesaw State as well. They have the better quarterback by a mile. Amari Odom is awesome. He started his career at Wofford, is from Inglewood, California, started his career at Wofford, and is now at Kennesaw State. And he's going to get some power forward looks this year if he enters the portal. He's been a lot of fun to watch.
I think I'm with Sam. I'm going to take Kennesaw State, but Jacksonville has been really tough and they're at home. So I'll go with Kennesaw, but I don't love the pick. Troy at JMU. The line is 22.5 in this one. JMU and Southern Miss seemed like they were on a collision course that fell apart. I think JMU wins pretty easily because they've been doing it to everyone. So do you guys have any differing opinions on that? I guess we should talk about if they're going to cover or not.
Well, JMU beat ODU by 30 plus, and ODU beat Troy by 30 plus. So
yeah,
let's go with the Dukes.
Yeah,
they are at home too, right? Isn't this in Harrisonburg?
It's on the side of I-81.
Yep. American, North Texas at Tulane. This should be really fun. Tulane, 2.5-point underdogs last time I checked. I like North Texas in this one.
I like the over.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the over. I've been rooting for Tulane all year. Honestly, that's my biggest future bet was for them to make the playoffs. So I want it to happen. But North Texas is just a machine right now. They are number 16 in SP Plus.
I know.
That's crazy.
Tulane's
crazy. Tulane's in the 40s.
And they've been scoring 50 a game like it's nothing. Mm-hmm. Like it's so I'm going with North Texas. UNLV at Boise. I think it's at Boise. I believe this is on the Smurf turf. 3.5-point favorites are the Broncos. Wait, yeah, 3. So UNLV with the better record, wrong team favored, or do you believe that Boise will take this one?
I'm not entirely sure how this game is at Boise.
Me either. That's why I was surprised.
But I'm also not entirely sure why Boise is favored because they have looked awful without Maddox at quarterback.
Well, last game, the new quarterback looked okay.
I don't know. It might just be a Southwest team that plays in a dome having to go to
At Boise,
Idaho in December.
Boise's got a good
Might
stable
not
of
be
running
a
back. I'm
December
not.
to remember for those guys.
UNLV is a football team. UNLV is a better football team. I'm not betting against Boise at home on the Smart.
I mean, they
Not
found a
doing it.
way to get in the damn game. I didn't think they'd get to the game. And
They
now
got
they're in
in.
it.
They got in the game because San Diego State threw an interception in overtime.
There you go. I like UNLV to at least cover the 3.5, but who knows? Saturday, Big 12, BYU versus Texas Tech. This is in Arlington. 13.5-point favorites are the Red Raiders. They crushed BYU last time. Does BYU have a shot? All right.
No.
Both you guys are nodding no.
No. Texas Tech. Sorry. Texas Tech is going to cover this spread in the first quarter. I think it's just going to be I think they're going to demolish them. Just the physicality they have. I think the environment of, you think about how many Texas kids are on Texas Tech's roster playing in Jerry World.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
This is their dream, man, and they're gonna crush them. There's the oil barons from Texas Tech are going to be out in full force. It's in the stands. BYU has no shot.
Do you guys remember who was the quarterback for Oklahoma? He played for the Eagles. He got drafted by the Rams. Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford was on Oklahoma. They had this killer team. He comes back. They play BYU, I believe, in Arlington. And BYU injured Sam Bradford and won that game. And I just like, it's unlikely, but I just feel like BYU does have a shot. They've had so much moxie this year. And yes, the last one got away from them when they played last time. I think they have a shot.
The issue is it's a really bad matchup for BYU because Texas Tech is really good at neutralizing the things that BYU is good at.
Yep.
That's what hurt BYU in that first game. The program power rankings model had Texas Tech number 2 in the country to start the year. Just saying.
Yeah, BYU just couldn't move the ball. And their defense played fine, but that Texas Tech front seven
and that game also
suffocating.
Texas Tech got like 2 field goals and then time ran out in the first half in the red zone. Like that game could have been a real.
You are right, Sam.
Yeah, their red zone offense was bad.
It could have been worse. And Texas Tech just laid waste to the Mountaineers. I thought the Mountaineers would cover 22.5 at home with Texas Tech kind of like maybe looking ahead to the championship game. No.
Texas Tech has been sitting starters for 3 weeks now.
Oh God, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's hard not to, with it being 13.5, it's hard not to take Texas Tech, but I'm not counting BYU completely out. MAC game. Miami versus Western Michigan. There was a lot of teams in contention for this championship game, but Western got there. Miami got there. 2.5-point favorites is Western Michigan at Ford Field. Any opinions on this?
I think I love Western Michigan.
I like Western Michigan too.
Sure.
I think I'll give you. I think Western Michigan is genuinely a really good football team.
I think they shouldn't have changed their primary colors to yellow, but I do like Western Michigan.
Did they
in this game?
They took North Texas to overtime.
Did they really?
Many forget.
Wow.
Many forget.
All right, SEC. Let's get to the big ones. SEC, Georgia versus Bama. Bama, 2.5-point underdogs. This is far from meaningless for a couple of reasons. One, if Bama wins, they get a bye because they're not going to let the SEC champ not get a bye. If Bama loses and BYU were to win, Bama could find themselves out of the playoff. There's meaning here. Also for Kirby to get over this hump, get an SEC title from Bama.
Give me Georgia. I think they're. Give me Georgia. Hard to beat a team twice.
I like Alabama. Give me Kalen DeBoer. Never lost to Kirby Smart. And going back to Washington, he never lost to Dan Lanning either. He knows how to coach a big game like this. His issue is always kind of the trap games that fly under the radar. But this offense, especially that Alabama has, it's one of the best passing offenses in the country. I don't trust the Georgia secondary enough to limit this just stable of receivers that Bama has, and Gunnar Stockton stinks. So
could be a lot of points in this game.
He's coming off that terrible game, and you're getting points with Bama.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I against the spread, I cannot not take Bama. They may very well win it outright.
I've been a terrible gambler over the last week or this weekend.
Dude, I had a bad rivalry week too.
Sam, can you say what you said in the group chat?
Which one?
The one about calling the hotline.
Yeah, I was down so bad at points this week, and I said if I called 1-800-GAMBLER, they'd laugh at me. However, championship weekend, pay the price for money line. Like these are tight games. These are both good teams. Don't try to pick the spread. Markets are really efficient at this time of year. Pay the extra few bucks to make a unit on money line is probably a better way to go.
Okay. In the Big Ten, we talked about this earlier. Indiana against Ohio State. Ohio State 5.5-point favorites. Line seems right. It's in between numbers. This is tough for me. I'm going to take Indiana against the spread.
I am too. Google me.
I'm not betting against the Buckeyes. Absolutely not.
Okay.
These dudes, they haven't lost a game in like.
I didn't say they'd lose.
Like nobody's come like the closest has been Texas at 7, and dude.
I mean, if you like, take your own advice here, Sam. If you're talking about that,
moneyline Indiana might be okay.
But no, I'm saying moneyline Ohio. If you're gonna like Ohio State, I don't disagree with you. Just take moneyline Ohio State. Like you're not going to get as much on the return.
Pay a lot. Here's the play. Here's the play. It might play. Indiana moneyline, Ohio State alt line.
What's the alt line?
Like give them like 7.5.
Okay.
Get that bump. Yeah.
So you're going to get the bump on both.
Yeah, you could play that.
Yeah, but you're not going to win anything. That's the problem.
Well, you're plus money on both. You win something, unless it's a close game.
Okay.
And then you live bet it to hedge it. Pete, we got this. We got it.
Figured it out.
We got it.
All right. Finally, the real stinker of them all. Duke against Virginia in what's going to be a cold and empty Bank of America Stadium. Virginia is only 2.5-point favorites. Is that correct? I mean, that's what I got earlier. Has it changed at all? Because that is
moved to 3.5.
It's 3.5. Okay.
Yeah.
It makes a little bit more sense because UVA just crushed this team not very long ago. Thoughts, comments, concerns?
Don't make me do it, Pete.
I'm picking Duke.
You're taking Duke.
Sorry. I'm doing it. And I think the reason why is as gross as Duke as a football team has been this year, Darian Mensah has been phenomenal. You're talking about a guy with 3,400 yards, 28 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's 17th in QBR, but against UVA, he had his worst game by a mile. And so to me, the offense started to come together in the second half. They started with like 4 straight 3-and-outs. I think that Mensah bounces back, and ultimately he is the best player on the field. And he makes that known, especially with UVA missing Cam Robinson as a linebacker. I think that's Tech didn't take advantage of that, but I think Duke can.
Okay. Sam, what do you think?
Virginia's going to win it.
That's what I think too. And it's not that I think Robert's prediction or his theory is wrong. I just feel like Virginia has gotten better and better. And I'm not basing it only on our game. Like they beat the piss out of Duke. And I know Duke came back a little bit in the game, but they were up 30-3 or 31-3 in that game. They were crushing them. I think Virginia has improved greatly throughout the year, despite injuries, despite Morris being banged up. And what they did to Tech was like, they beat us worse than Miami did. Like they
defensively, but not, their offense was pretty lethargic.
I think it's field position is going to be really big in this game because field position has kind of been the secret sauce for UVA this year. They lost it in the game against Wake Forest, and that ultimately hurt them big time. They won it against Virginia Tech. And like as bad as that game was, that was a pretty close game for the entire first half. And Virginia Tech's defense was kind of swarming around for a few drives there in the first half. But the field position just really, really started favoring UVA. And that's what changed the game.
That and turnovers for UVA has been the story all year.
If Duke can find a way to win field position, they can win this game. Because I think you're right. I think they have the best player on the field in Darian Mensah.
I think if at times this year, Manny Diaz has shown some nuts against Clemson, against UNC, but against actually good football teams, he hasn't been good.
Their defense has been pretty bad.
If Duke had Jake Dickert as their head coach, I'd be picking Duke all day. But I look at this matchup and I just feel like this is absolutely going to be UVA. Like Duke can't defend. They have been terrible on defense most of the season. And I don't want to pick UVA to win, but like it just feels like they're the better football team. And I think the line is too short. Like I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's because it's in North Carolina. There's like a little bit of it. I don't know.
There should be like 10,000 people at this game.
Yeah, there are no Duke football fans in North Carolina. I can tell you that much.
I mean, was the game that what was the game? When Duke lost to UVA the first time, wasn't that in Wallace Wade?
Mm-hmm. It was.
And now this one's in a neutral site. Mm-hmm. And they're only 3.5-point favorites.
Well, there's no home field advantage in Wallace Wade either. So.
Well, I know. Yeah, you're right. So basically it's 2 neutral sites.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm picking UVA. I hate myself for it. I want to die. Maybe I'd take Duke against the spread if it's 3.5. I just don't believe. I'm not a Diaz guy. I can't see him winning this game, but maybe he does. And that would be good because honestly, I could give a shit about the ACC at this point. They deserve nothing good. And so of course, I would love to see UVA eat shit, but I feel like they're going to get the win. All right, Robert, now we're going to get to some chatter about the playoff because there are problems, right? We still have the guaranteed 5 conference champions getting bids. We have only 12 teams. You have potentially a new system here. Is there a slide you want me to use first of what you sent me?
Yeah, do the big one.
The big one? Okay.
Yeah. So this is a disgusting mess. But I'll start with this. I think the biggest problem with the current system is I think the 12-team system in theory is good, but what has ruined it is realignment and these mega conferences, because what's happening is teams in the same conference are not playing equitable schedules, right? Like Vanderbilt and Texas A&M both have only played 1 ranked team, or A&M's played 2 ranked teams all year, whereas Alabama had to play like 6. So what I've devised here is almost in a kind of like you would do high school football, where you would play your region tournament. You would win your region, and then every region winner would go to the state tournament. What we would have is all 9 conferences would do a 4-team playoff. Okay? And this would make those conference championships actually matter as well. So this is what it would be this year based on the current standings. I went for the throwback logos because I just think it's way more
beautiful.
fun.
The logos are so good.
Yeah. And so just assume in this graphic, the top team is playing the bottom team and the 2 middle teams are playing each other in each conference. And so, this gives Miami per se like a shot to actually play their way into the playoff. And ultimately, what would happen is you would have these 9 conference winners. The top 4 ranked conference winners go to the 4-team college football playoff. The next 4 highest ranked conference champions play in call it the college football invitational.
All right. So this is your college football playoff as you devised from projected winners from the top 4 conferences.
So you would have the Big Ten winner, Ohio State, the SEC winner, Georgia, the Big 12 winner Texas Tech and the ACC winner Miami playing in a 4-team playoff for the national championship.
So you're not giving any more extra chances to the SEC or the Big Ten just because they have better teams. They've played it out on the field and they found a best team.
Yeah, I mean it's again, if you think of it like high school, like you play in your region tournament, doesn't matter if you're the best team in the region, you lose, you're not going to state, right? Like it is like stage 1 of the national tournament versus stage 2. And then
you'd have this.
The college football invitational, and to incentivize players to not opt out, much like the Players Era Festival that just happened, the basketball tournament where the players were playing for NIL prize money. You have the next 4 highest ranked conference champions play their own playoff with the prize being money.
I love it. So that Gamecock is Jacksonville State.
That is Jacksonville State. Okay. Yes. I just did that because they're favored. But yes, so that 9th team gets left out, unfortunately. Maybe this encourages some conference consolidation. Also, it forces Notre Dame to join a conference, which is fantastic. I don't know. I mean, I know it would never happen, but
I like it for a number of reasons, and I've been on the train of that. Someone with a 17 or 18 team conference should do a 14 playoff. Like, do flex scheduling for the final 2 weeks. You can figure it out and flex it so you can have 2 really good games the last 2 weeks, including a championship game. Then, once you get to the college football playoff, have your 12 teams, have your 14 teams, whatever it is. But as soon as you have your playoff teams, let the losers of those teams also play in a following week in a consolation. So it's similar in nature to what you're talking about.
And I think also what it does is if there are programs who are consistently at the bottom of their power conferences, and when we get this next wave of realignment, like, hey, what if you do drop down? There is some money to help you out with that. And there's something to play for there. And I think that's like the future state of college football. I definitely do see another division.
Even if you didn't do the playoff in the ACC, what you have to flex schedule, meaning if you have UVA and it's week 11 and week 12 is blank, it's not scheduled, and you see they've played the worst schedule in the ACC. Now they have to play Miami, one of the best teams. You have to match them up against to even out the strength of schedules. The whole goal is to get even strength of schedule. So you can flex the last 2 weeks, you can flex the last week, but you look at what they've played and who's out there and you match them up accordingly so you can get these schedules more even, because it's bullshit that they didn't play 4 of the best teams in the conference.
Yeah. And I think another thing that this adds is, I think another glaring issue, and you're seeing this in how like Steve Sarkisian was complaining about how Texas scheduled Ohio State and how he feels that if they would have played a cupcake, they'd be in the playoff right now. Granted, they could have also not lost to Florida, but know. So now the incentive to play major non-conference games is there is none. Other than like financial benefit, maybe for an ACC or something trying to get more viewership. But now, like, you can kind of play one of those games. You can get the experience of playing a good team. You can get the money, and there's not really a penalty for losing, because ultimately all you really have to do is finish in the top 4 in your conference, and then the door is open to you. Like, now you have a path to the national championship.
I think I like your idea, Robert. I just think that I love the wild card. I love the wild card in baseball, and I love the at-large bid, and I love the conversation that comes along with it. So if we could take your model and expand it to 8, so all the winners are in, and then we get 4 at-larges, like, I just feel like that, but then it creates some problems that we already have. So but there's probably a meeting point in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you don't want to. I mean, and ultimately, you don't want to have too many games as well.
Yes, players.
But I mean, there's another thing here. Like, if the Bulls want to get in, like the New Year's Six, their sacred bowls want to get involved. If you think about the college football playoff and the college football invitational, there's 6 games total in that, rotating sites there.
True. Yeah.
Can you imagine? Hold on. Can we imagine James Madison in North Texas playing in the Rose Bowl? Come on. Beautiful.
The real college football sickos would love that. The powers that be would
The
absolutely.
Rose Bowl would hate it. Yeah.
Not enough people talk about a lot of the issues we have in college football are due to the Rose Bowl committee.
Yep. That's Sam. You are number one on the money right
Mhm.
there. All right. Let's do playoff picks and let's get out of here. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first because mine's not that fun. And it's I wanted to make it fun. I tried. I have Texas A&M, Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss out of the SEC. I have Texas on the chopping block. Big Ten stays the same. Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana. Virginia, whatever, in the ACC. Don't care. I hate it. Texas Tech out of the Big 12. Notre Dame out of the Independents. And I think Tulane gets the win over North Texas for the G5 representation. A transition into Roberts is option B, and I'll let him go over option B.
Yeah. So this is, I appreciate the nope in all caps with the exclamation point. This is if Duke wins. Sam, I honestly don't think we're very different here. I think the SEC, those 5 are pretty set. The Big Ten, those 3 are pretty set. Honestly, Texas Tech is getting in win or lose. And Notre Dame is probably in right now. And the American winner is probably in.
Yep.
So the question becomes, does Duke win, vaulting JMU above them? And who wins between North Texas and Tulane? I just feel more comfortable. I don't know. I just don't want to put UVA on a playoff graphic. Sue me. It is a harrowing reality for us as Virginia Tech fans that one of UVA or JMU will almost certainly make the playoff unless they both lose. I think now I do want to touch on to the debate between Miami and Notre Dame. I am someone who 99 times out of 100, I would be like, hey, same record, head to head. You got to give the nod to the head to head, right? And Miami beat Notre Dame head to head. So, like, why are they out and Notre Dame's in? There's 2 reasons for that. Number one, that win was CJ Carr, who's a freshman quarterback. That was his first start, right? And you look at where Notre Dame is now compared to where they were week 1, it's a different team. And then more importantly, like, if Miami didn't even make it to the championship game in a conference that had 7-5 Duke make it to the championship, I'm sorry. They don't deserve to play for a national championship.
Yeah.
It's damning but it's also just like total bullshit based on where the losses come from.
It doesn't match the eye test, which is unfortunate.
To me, it's just a principle where ultimately it's like Miami, and clearly they showed this by beating Notre Dame week 1, that like they are unequivocally the best team in the ACC by a long shot. They should have ran the table with this conference through this conference without even thinking twice.
Yeah.
But they lost 2 very, very winnable games against Louisville, who kind of stinks, and SMU, who choked against Cal on Saturday. Like, I'm sorry, you don't deserve to play for a championship after that. Whereas Notre Dame has taken those first 2 losses in stride and has been crushing everybody they play. And
they do have a good win against USC. They beat a 9-2 Navy team. They beat a decent Pitt team. There's not a ton, like, it's not like Notre Dame has this great resume. People talk more about their losses than their wins, but they have been smoking everybody. Like, there has been no mercy. And I am a proponent of, like, if you're playing games within a season, all the games count. I don't know if they should all count equally, but Miami literally beat them. Like, it's not fair.
I get it.
It's like the games have to matter. They just have to matter. And by putting Notre Dame in over Miami, I think it's chicken shit by the committee. I think it's terrible, but that's what they're going to do. And so that's neither here nor there. My prediction, I gave Treadmill Horse a bunch of shit about putting his graphic out about UVA beating us. I've got UVA on a graphic here, although it's not against us, is because I believe them to beat Duke this weekend and them to get in. Notre Dame for me as well. Like I just said, Texas Tech in the Big 12, the 3 Big 10 teams, the 5 same teams as Sam had and Robert had. And I went with the Mean Green in North Texas to beat Tulane, as we talked about in the thing. There are a couple doomsday scenarios here. The doomsday scenario for Notre Dame is BYU beating Texas Tech and Alabama winning. If those two things happen, Notre Dame's out. If BYU beats Texas Tech, there's a chance Bama's out and not Notre Dame, because Bama has been behind Notre Dame in the last 2 CFPs. They've been 10. Whether UVA wins or not has no bearing on that doomsday scenario for Notre Dame. Bama and BYU, the BYU thing, I just think, again, do they deserve to be in this playoff in your guys' eyes?
I was about to ask. Like, they're 11-1.
That's the Cincinnati win doesn't look great right now.
Yeah, but this will be this would be 2 seasons in a row that they went 11-1 in the regular season and did not make the playoff.
It's yeah. I mean, BYU's probably not going to win, but them winning would just be so interesting for a number of things. One, it would give the Big 12 2 teams, and that means the SEC, they could get 5 or 4.
I think Oklahoma gets bounced at that point.
Yeah.
Like even
because it would be at that point you run into the thing too. Like you put Oklahoma in and not
Bama
Texas.
Wins, they're locked in.
Yeah.
Like Texas beat Oklahoma and they beat Texas A&M. They played Ohio State closer than anybody else.
Well,
they lost to Florida.
Like if we're going to do the games matter thing for Miami over Notre Dame, then we have to do it for Texas.
Yeah, but Texas lost an extra game. That's the difference.
That's true, but
the record.
But it's also hook 'em horns.
Could so if a BYU win and a Bama loss force Bama out, yes, that's potential. And then you'd have the conversation at that point, like 10-2 Notre Dame, 10-3 Bama, 10-2 Miami, 10-2 Vandy. Like there are like, and the BYU won too, but BYU in that scenario, BYU has won. But like there are a lot of worthy teams, I think, to make this playoff. It's but there's only 12 teams.
Mm-hmm.
The other scenario I texted you guys earlier was about the G5, and Robert has 2 G5s making it in his. I'm trying to get this off the screen. Give me a second. He has 2 G5s making it in. Was it North Texas and JMU?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have Duke winning. If JMU were to somehow lose and Duke wins, meaning UVA loses, then what happens? Because then JMU is essentially eliminated unless Boise wins. Then does Boise?
No.
But if 11-2, but if UNLV wins and they're 11-2, would they go above Duke?
Maybe.
Or would you take Troy?
No,
you can't. I feel like Troy has too many losses.
You would take potentially UNLV, but I don't think it'll get to that point. I think they would go against their own system before they did that. I think they would take the rules and just rip them up on live TV and say, "Screw it."
Yeah, they probably would. But like an 11-2 UNLV, like what's the difference between them and JMU? Like,
yeah, I'd say they'd probably go with UNLV.
Teams.
They'd probably go with UNLV at that point.
What about a 10-3 Kennesaw?
Okay. No. It's just that the CUSA is the worst conference of all the conferences.
We might as well put Montana. Montana State might as well be in it.
What's worse, the CUSA or the MAC?
Probably the MAC this year. The MAC's pretty bad.
CUSA's been better this year. I think
CUSA's not terrible this year, actually. FIU, Western Kentucky,
Delaware just dropped 61 on UTEP. Fighting Blue Hen Pilsner over here.
Montana State, shout out. Montana State and Delaware are both eligible for bowl games with the Auburn loss.
Montana State?
Missouri State.
Missouri State.
Okay.
Did I say Montana State?
You did. But
Montana State would beat half the teams you just talked about.
Yeah, I was wondering. They could do that. Well, this was a lot of fun, fellas. We've extended. We've gone a really long time. This is from Billy. Miss your beautiful face beat. Rip beats the beard. Yes, the beard left today. All kinds of weird things underneath that I have manicured over before this podcast. But yeah, the clean face is back. New era has started for Virginia Tech and for my face. But make sure you're subscribed to the Sons of Saturday on YouTube, Sons of Saturday podcast feed, the 2 Deep podcast feed on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Robert, do you have anything to plug over there? You're one of our more legit sports writer people that is associated with the Sons of Saturday.
No.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe
follow the Sports Business Journal on socials.
Yeah,
great. Yeah,
Robert
drive
Irby
the
at the
social
Sports
engagement.
Business Journal. Thank you for joining us. This was a lot of fun, and I like your solution. I think that would be great. I would love 14 playoffs in every.
I honestly needed that affirmation.
Conference.
It would be really entertaining, and that's all that matters.
It really would be. And this is the last comment I'll post. We are now in the Franklin era. LFG, good pod, boys. Yes, thank you. If you made it to the end of the show and you want to leave a comment in the feed, Sam, what is it?
Himmy Franklin.
Himmy Franklin.
That's Himmy like Jimmy Franklin. And that's going to do it
Jimmy
for the podcast.
Short for James.
That's right. That's right. And until next time, go Hokies.
Go Hokies.